Have you ever noticed how quickly we convince ourselves we need one more thing before we can make more money? We tell ourselves we need one more certification, one more course, one more strategy, one more idea, one more year of experience. It's almost like we've been trained to believe income comes after permission. I believed that for a long time. And looking back, it wasn't because I was lacking ability. It was because I was looking in the wrong direction. Because every time I wanted another stream of income, I asked myself the same question.
What business should I start?
It sounds like a smart question, right? Well, it's not. Because that one question kept me stuck far longer than I care to admit. Because when you ask, what business should I start? Your brain immediately starts searching for validation outside of you. So you start scrolling, researching, comparing, watching someone else's success story, saving ideas you'll probably never act on. The whole time, you're overlooking the one thing that already belongs to you: your skills, your experience, your perspective, and the things people have been thanking you for years. If you're watching this because you've been thinking about starting a business, building another stream of income, or you've been wondering if coaching could be an option for you, I want you to stay with me for this one. Because in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact framework I wish someone had given me years ago. It's the framework that changed how I think about making money. And in a few minutes, I'll show you why most women have far more income potential than they realize without adding another degree, another certification, or another decade of experience. For most of my career, I did what most high-achieving women do. I became really good at my job. I solved problems, led projects, built strategies, helped people, delivered results, and every year my skills grew. But something never made sense to me. If my value kept increasing, why did my income only increase when someone else approved it? Think about that for a second. Every promotion you get requires permission. Every raise requires approval. Every opportunity given depends on someone else's budget, priorities, or organizational chart. Let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with having a career. I had one. Shoot, I still have one. But at some point, I realized I had unknowingly tied my financial future to decisions I didn't control. That realization didn't make me angry. It made me curious. And I started asking a completely different question. I stopped asking, what job will pay me more? And I started asking, how do I create value that belongs to me? Because that question shifted my attention away from climbing someone else's ladder and directed my attention toward building my own. Those are two very different paths. One depends on opportunity, the other creates it. I think we've inherited an outdated definition of skills. Most people think skills mean becoming the smartest person in the room. They think it means becoming the person with every credential, every answer, or every accomplishment. I don't believe that's true anymore. I think skills are much more simpler than that. Skills are helping someone solve a problem you've already solved. So if you've successfully navigated something, built something, learned something, improved something, recovered from something, organized something, led something, managed something, or figured something out, there's a good chance someone else is still standing where you used to stand. And that's where opportunity starts in this. It doesn't start because you're the world's leading expert. Opportunity in this starts because you're further down the path than someone else who needs your help. That's one of the biggest gems I wish someone would have handed me years ago. I spent too much time trying to become more impressive when I should have been becoming more useful. Here's another belief I want to challenge. I don't think most women struggle because they don't have valuable skills. I believe most women struggle because they've spent years using those skills inside environments where they never had to identify those skills. When someone asks,
What do you do?
Most people answer with a job title. I'm in HR. I'm a project manager. I'm a nurse. I'm in marketing. I'm an executive assistant. Those aren't skills, y'all. Those are job titles. And inside every one of those titles are dozens of valuable skills. Skills like conflict resolution, leadership, communication, planning, decision-making, organization, training, coaching, strategy, systems thinking, accountability, listening, facilitation, and problem solving. Listen, the list is long, but the point is those are all transferable assets, and assets create income. Titles usually can't do that. And that distinction right there matters. And once I understood that, I stopped introducing myself by my title and I started thinking about the problems I knew how to solve. That's where businesses are born, not from job titles, from transformation. Here's a quote you can screenshot. Your resume tells employers where you've been. Your skills decide where you can go next. I really wish more women believe that, because so many of you are waiting for permission to reinvent yourself when you've been preparing for years. Every meeting prepared you for this. Every difficult conversation is preparing you for this. Every challenge, every deadline, every failure, every success, you've been collecting proof your entire life. You just haven't been looking at it through an entrepreneurial lens. The women who build coaching businesses, consulting businesses, and successful service businesses don't necessarily have more talent. They're simply looking at their experience in a different way. That's why I created a framework for it, because once I understood these 5 shifts, building another stream of income stopped feeling overwhelming and started feeling possible. So let me walk you through what I call the skill to income framework. This isn't about creating a complicated business plan. It's about looking at your experience through an entirely different lens. Because once you see your skills this way, it's almost impossible to go back to seeing them as just part of your job. S is for see your skills as assets, not activities. This is where almost everyone gets stuck. Ask someone what they do for work and they usually tell you a list of responsibilities. I manage projects, I onboard new employees, I coordinate events, I lead a team. Those are all activities. And activities keep businesses running, but assets create value. The asset is how you do those things. Maybe you're exceptional at bringing order to chaos. Maybe you're the person everyone calls when a project is falling apart. Maybe you're known for helping difficult personalities work together. Maybe you have a gift for simplifying complicated information. Those are all assets. They're portable. They don't belong to your employer, they belong to you. That's a completely different way to look at your career, because careers pay you to use your assets. Businesses pay you to own them. K is for know the transformation, not just the topic. This one changed everything for me, y'all, because most people think they're selling information and they're not. Because people can Google information. They can watch endless videos. They can listen to podcasts. Information has never been more accessible than it is right now today. Transformation is different though. Transformation helps someone move from one version of themselves to another. Think about it. Nobody buys a fitness coach because they want workout instructions. They want to become healthier. Nobody hires a career coach because they enjoy updating resumes. They want confidence walking into interviews. Nobody hires a business coach because spreadsheets are exciting. They want options, momentum, freedom, and results. I is for identify the version of you that already solved the problem. This may be the most overlooked part of building an online business. You don't have to become somebody else. You simply have to remember who you used to be. Think back before you learned that skill, before you had it all figured out, before you gained the confidence you have now. That part of you would have loved to sit across the table from the person you are today, right? That's the person you're building for. You're not building your business for lottie-dottie and everybody. You're building for one person, one problem, and one transformation. And here's why that matters. So many women assume they need to be 20 years ahead to help someone. You don't. Sometimes being 3 steps ahead makes you the better guide because you still remember what those first steps felt like. You haven't forgotten the questions, the fears, the overthinking, the moments you almost gave up. And that empathy is valuable because it builds trust. And trust is one of the most valuable currencies in online business. Listen, if this is opening your eyes to possibilities you hadn't considered before, I want to invite you to go a little deeper. I put together a free training where I break down how to build a skills-based income stream. I go into why so many women spend months preparing without making progress, and why having a simple structure matters so much more than having everything figured out. If you want the details, just drop income down in the comments and I'll make sure you get everything you need. Now, let me show you the 2 shifts that completely changed the way I think about making money. L is for launch before you're ready. This is where so many women stall out right before the breakthrough, because you've done the work, you understand your skills, you've identified the transformation, and you know exactly who you're helping. And then you wait. You wait for your website to be perfect. You wait for your audience to reach some magic number. You wait to feel ready enough to make an offer. But launching before you're ready doesn't mean being careless. It means trusting that your first client doesn't need a polished brand. They need a clear outcome and someone they trust trust to help them reach it. And one real result under your belt will compound faster than another year of preparation ever could. And the last L is for leverage before you expand. One of the biggest myths in entrepreneurship is that growth comes from doing more. People believe they need more offers, more platforms, more certification, more content, and more ideas. I don't think that's where growth starts. I believe growth starts by extracting more value from what already exists. That's what leverage is. Think about your career for a second. You spent years building expertise, right? Years learning what works, years making mistakes someone else no longer has to make because you've already lived them. Why would the first step be learning something completely unrelated? It makes far more sense to ask, how can I create value from what I've already earned, right? Because that's leverage. Leverage says your past isn't your history, it's inventory. Every lesson you've learned has the potential to help someone who's standing where you used to stand. Every challenge you've overcome has the potential to shorten someone else's learning curve. That's why I believe your skills are one of the most underutilized financial assets you'll ever own. Not because it's flashy, because it's already been paid for with your time, your effort, your setbacks, and your persistence. Don't underestimate the value of something you had to learn the hard way. Someone else is paying for the shortcut you already have. There you have it. That's the framework. See your skills as assets, not activities. Know the transformation, not just the topic. Identify the version of you that already solved the problem. Launch before you're ready and leverage before you expand. And here's the thing about all this. None of this requires you to start over. It just requires you to start, because if you're still watching, here's what I know about you. You're not someone who lacks ability. You're someone who hasn't had the right lens to look at what you already have. And now you do. So the next move is simple. Stop collecting information and start collecting results. That's exactly why I created 2K in 2 hours, because I wanted women to stop wondering if they had something valuable to offer and start seeing a practical path for turning their skills into income without overcomplicating the process. If that's where you are, I want you to head over to my website at herincomeedit.com/2K, or just click the link down in the description. And if this conversation opened up something for you, you're going to want to watch this video next, because it tackles the one thing that keeps most women from ever making the move, even after they know their skills have value. Okay, I'll see you there.